All rise. Vous vous levez. The International Criminal Court is now in session. L'audience de la Cour pénale internationale est ouverte. Please be seated. Veuillez vous asseoir.
Thank you very much. Court officer of the case, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. The situation in the Republic of Kenya in the case of the prosecutor versus William Samuel Ruto and Joshua Arap Sang. ICC 0109-0111. We are in an open session.
Thank you. Appearances.
Morning, Mr. President. Your Honors, appearances remain the same for the prosecution.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. President, Your Honors. The appearances remain the same on our side. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Deputy Counsel.
Thank you very much.
Good morning, Mr. President, Your Honors. Our team remains the same as yesterday, and Honor Lenham, our case manager, has joined us as well.
Mr. President, Your Honors, good morning. The team for Mr. Ruto remains as yesterday.
Thank you very much. And witness, welcome back to the court. And we excuse you for the afternoon of yesterday because of some other debates, procedural debates that needed to happen in the case. Welcome back. Mr. Garcia will continue, but in a minute. Private session, please.
We are back in open session, Mr. President.
Thank you. Mr. Garcia, please.
Good morning, Mr. Witness.
Good morning.
Now, Mr. Witness, I see that you have before you possibly the document on which you were writing on yesterday. Do you see that next to you?
Yes.
Now, yesterday I asked you what those words meant, and I just want to be clear on this. Your response, and this is at transcript, yesterday's transcript 165, page 59, lines 7 to 9, 8 to 9 actually, you said that the translation was, I say go slowly, and then you just a Kikuyu to go high up home in Nyeri, and the person who is to lead is the big man, you know. Now, I just want to make sure, is this a translation, a literal translation of the words that you've written down, or is this your interpretation of them?
Let me repeat again there.
Yes, and just actually before you do that, what I'm interested in at this point is having you translate for us literally what those words are, what they mean, the words that you wrote down on the document. All right?
Yes.
Then afterwards I'll ask you what the meaning is.
Yes.
So what is the literal translation of these words?
According to me, this is to say that you go slowly and then you catch the bend and then you chase the Kikuyus to their home high in Nyeri. And the person who is leading is the big man.
Mr. Garcia, can you remind us again the tab?
Yes, Your Honor. It's tabs 51 and 52. And at tab 51, it's transcript 0080 0029 from lines 309 to 321. The translation is at tab 52. It's at 00800029 at 0039, lines 312 to 329.
From the English booth, could Counsel please slow down when quoting numbers at speed? Thank you.
just to repeat those, the translation is at tab 52, and that's ERN Ken OTP 0080 0029 at 0039, lines 312 to 329. The transcript is at tab 51, and that's 0080 0029, and it's lines 309 to 321. So both of them are in binder 3.
And Mr. President, with your leave, page 4, lines 22, there's obviously a mistake, because the witness, at least I heard him say the word pen, and that does not appear in the Transcend transcript.
Indeed, that is the case, Your Honor. I was going to go through that with the witness. I was just getting the references out for the moment. Now, you say that in this translation, you said that it was also said the person who is leading is the big man. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What are the words for that in Nandi? Did you write them down in your document?
Yes, with the no.
Can you just spell out the words for us, which ones they are?
Huerta is W-E-R-T-O.
Did you say another word as well, or is that the only one?
And then now is N-A and then O-O.
Okay. And what was your understanding of this that was said?
That is the big man.
I'm going to be a bit clear about how did you understand this when the person spoke and said these words? What did you understand of this?
If I can understand directly the way he was singing, it was meaning that the Kikuyu community to be sent to Nyeri or the ancestral land of Kikuyus, and the person who is leading is then President Kibaki, the big man.
I just want to put a correction to the transcript. You said that the Kikuyu community to be sent to Nyeri or of Kikuyus. What was the word that you said?
Timoriok.
Is that the word that you used before? K-I-M-O-R-I-O-K?
Yes.
Timoriok?
Yes.
Thank you for that. I just want to show you one image, another image of this video for you to answer a question. For the record, the timestamp is 16:56.
While that's been done, perhaps the time stamp could be repeated for the record. Thank you.
I'm going to be playing from 1656 to 1701. If we could have the floor as well.
You do have the floor, Mr. Garcia.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Witness, I just want you to look at this extract, and I have a question for you afterwards. So, Mr. Witness, we've shown you a brief extract from that video. Were you able to recognize the place that's shown on that extract?
Repeat again.
Could you tell the court what is the place that we see on that brief extract that we showed you? So, witness, we're going to show it to you again, and we'll add a couple of seconds to that so you can take a good look. So we'll start again at 1656. So for the record, we played from 1656 to 1716. Mr. Witness, could you tell us what exactly is the place that we've seen in that brief extract?
I think here is inside the Kipchoge Stadium.
Thank you for that, Mr. Witness.
How do we know that, Mr. Garcia?
Your Honor, the fact that it is Kipchoge Stadium?
Yes.
Well, we could show the witness a bit more. I'm concerned about the time, obviously. He's already seen it during the clarification, the preparation session, and it's simply for the witness to confirm the place that showed in the video. That's the limited purpose of that extract.
But one or two questions could be put.
Certainly, Your Honor.
To elucidate.
Now, Mr. Witness, just for, if you can clear this up for us, can you tell us exactly why you believe this is a Kipchoge Stadium that you saw in that extract?
Because I see the people sitting next to the stadium. It was resembling Kipchoge Stadium.
Now, I understand, Mr. Witness, that you were there yourself on that day. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, just to confirm, when you see these images, the short extract that I showed you, is it the same as what you saw on that day on the 3rd of January?
I'd ask that the witness not be led.
I didn't think we had, that this was in contention, but I can ask a more neutral question.
Your Honor, I've said if my learned friend is given consent by the defence to lead, we will of course do that. Your Honor, these issues are in contention. Maybe that's illustrated by the amount of time we've spent on 2 or 3 lines already.
Now, Mr. Witness, when you see, you've seen those images, the 10 seconds that we played, you've mentioned to the court that it is Kipchoge Stadium. You've also mentioned to the court yesterday that you were at a rally at Kipchoge Stadium on the 3rd of January. What can you tell us about those images that you just saw?
I can't confirm exactly if the same image, but if I see the people is like the same, but I can't remember really if we can play a bit longer and then I can be sure of the same, if it was the same. But
certainly, Mr. Witness.
This is part of the, yes, I could not identify every section of the video.
All right, so we'll just play it again and we'll add some time to that so you can get your bearings. We'll start again at 1656.
Your Honour, if it helps, what I can concede, so there's no confusion, is the date of the event and that the recording relates to that event. Of course, the interpretation of the gloss that's been put on words is a matter that the bench will have to decide in due course. That's in contention. But the actual video, I accept it's an authentic video of the demonstration that the prosecution have stated.
Mr. King Katwa? Or Ms. Bousman?
We take the same position, Mr. President.
Thank you. Oh,
Operators would like to note a strong 50-cycle hum on the line.
Previously, and I think it may well be relevant, my learned friend showed a clip, 17.56 to 1701.
you have to state it 1 second. You have to come again. Overlapping speakers noted in the beginning of...
Yes, I'm grateful. Your Honour, previously my learned friend showed a clip, 1656 to 1701, and it was paused in a particular location, and a white piece of paper was being held with the words written in manuscript, "The blood of dead Kenyans is in the head of Kibaki." I think when a still is paused like that and put for the witness, what's displayed should be recorded somehow, so later on we know what we're looking at. We have a timestamp, but perhaps something that's that obvious should just be read into the record. So, Your Honour, perhaps it's been done by my comment now, in fact.
You have marked it, but we will leave it up to the questioner and, of course, the court to intervene for that sort of purpose, because the pause, we do not want to accentuate things more than the questioner might have wanted. That's not to say things should not be accentuated, but we can't have a standard rule for that sort of thing in every case. That's the point, really. The interpreters noted hum. Yes, indeed, there is a hum. I think it's probably because the video was paused. Sometimes machines do that. Mr. Garcia, please proceed.
Yes.
The situation now becomes this. The defense accept that the image, the video image, is indeed the Kipchoge Stadium, and of the events in question, their contention is the interpretation of the words. So you can proceed now.
And I'm grateful for that. Just to remind as well, Defense Counsel, that the video is already in evidence. So indeed, if defense wishes to refer to any extract, it's already in evidence, so it can be referred to without needing, obviously, to put certain things on the record or state them on the record.
Yes, and you also do mark the points with the timestamps thing that you should do. Proceed.
Now, Mr. Witness, I'm just going to show you one last small extract, and it's at timestamp 27:22 to 27:30.
Kusema ya kwamba Kibaki aje ofisi State House kuanzia leo, sio.
Now, Mr. Witness, do you recognize the person that's on that extract, as shown in the video?
Yes.
Who is that?
It was from Kapsabet Mayor Michael Rono.
All right, now here is what we might have a description. Somebody wearing a red cap and a white shirt.
So indeed, it is a person wearing a red cap, white shirt, and it's at timestamps 27:22, 20 of the video. Now you say, Mr. Witness, it's the former mayor of Kapsabet?
Yes.
Can you tell us what ethnicity this person is?
Nandi.
And can you tell us at the time what party this person was supporting?
Orange Democratic Movement.
One last extract from this same video, timestamp 24:59 to 25:10.
Hawa wanaenda police station kwa mambo ile tulisema. Wale wazee wanaenda kwa DC. Serikali inataka tufu.
Now, Mr. Witness, we see on the screen a man with a, I believe it's maybe a light blue shirt. Correct me if I'm wrong. But can you identify this person for us?
Yes,
Who is that?
Ismail Choke.
So you mentioned, I think it didn't get on the record, it's Ishmael Choge.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Now, Mr. Witness, who is Mr. Ishmael Choge?
He is a politician from that side.
When you say he was a politician, did he occupy any particular function?
Yes, he's a prominent politician from Odium.
Can you tell us of what ethnicity he is?
Anandi.
Thank you, Mr. Witness. Now, Mr. Witness, we're going to move away from the Kapsavet rally that you say occurred on the 3rd of January. Did anything else occur in the weeks after the month of January?
I can't remember any other thing that's happened that particular days. But there was continuation of on and off blocking of the roads and fight the Eldorets and surrounding.
And when you say that there was continuation of the blocking of the roads in Eldoret, can you tell us from when to when did this last? What dates approximately?
I'm not sure. And I don't still remember exact date, but probably by mid of January.
Right. When you say mid of January, is this when they would have started or finished?
When it's just stop it a little bit, but already negotiation was still already going on in Nairobi.
And who exactly was blocking the roads until mid-January?
Majority Kalenjins in my region.
Now, do you know why they were blocking the roads?
They were still not certified that Kibaki was still in the power.
Now, Mr. Witness, during your testimony, you mentioned Your Honors, could we go in private session for a minute, please?
Private session.
We're in open session, Mr. President.
Please, Mr. Garcia, proceed.
Now, Mr. Witness, you said that you attended at the funerals of Mr. Lucas Sang. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
Now, can you tell us where where the funerals were held?
In his home, around Queen 8.
So just for the record, Queenet is Kuinet, if it hasn't been captured. And when you arrived there, could you tell us who was present at the funerals of Mr. Lukasang?
Many people.
Any notable persons or personalities that you recognize amongst the many people?
Yes, Kibor Jackson.
Anyone else?
Former MP from Kenya, Mr. Subeyo. Can't remember the other name.
Can you spell Subeyo for us, please?
S-U-M-B. M-P-E-W-Y. W.
I understand you're just taking the time now to write down the name. Can you just spell it once again for us, each letter of the last name?
S-U-M-B-E-W-B-E-Y-W-A.
And did you say this was a former MP from KO? Is that what your testimony?
Yes, not. KO, not. Yeah. Yes.
Let's try again with the spelling. Do we have S-U-M-B-E-Y-W-A?
Yes.
All right.
Anybody else that you recognize there? Any personalities?
Yes. The former nominated MP, Tabitha Say.
All right. Just for the record, that is Tabitha, T-A-B-I-T-H-A, Say, S-E-I-I. Is that correct, Mr. Witness?
Yes.
Now, did anyone speak during the funerals of Mr. Lukasang?
The same people.
Did Mr. Kibor speak during the funerals?
Yes, Your Honor.
Were you there listening to this when Mr. Kibor was speaking?
Yes, Your Honor.
Can you tell the court what Mr. Kibor said?
I can't recall exactly what he said, but he was telling people to be ready to fight with Kikuyus, but I can't still remember exact what.
That's all right, Mr. Witness. Now, what we're interested is not necessarily the exact words, unless you know them, but in general, what was he saying, without needing to refer to the exact words?
I can't remember exactly, but he was telling the youth to be prepared to fight with the Kikuyus.
Anything else?
I can't remember exact words.
Now, do you remember anyone else who spoke at the funeral?
Tabitha Say was saying that if young men are not ready to fight, then I can decide to wear the trouser. Then I can go myself to the war.
Now, how did you understand that? What did you understand that to mean?
Yeah, being a woman, she was really giving a morale young men to go to fight, because if a woman has decided to go herself, then men always will be excited to go to the war.
When you say that she was really giving a morale, what do you mean by that? Remember the 5 seconds, Mr. Witness.
Giving them courage to go.
Now, did you hear the speeches of anyone else while you were there?
Sumbeyo was also saying, was also giving the same information, giving the word of sympathy and also encouraging and also praising the late, that he died when he was fighting for us.
Mr. President, I think it's only fair to the witness. My learned friend at one point said, we're not interested in the exact words. Your Honours, I think we shouldn't go straight to second best evidence. If the witness can remember the precise words, that's what we should get.
That's a good point. I had in mind to make that point as well. The witness, if you can remember the exact words, make efforts to do that. But what Mr. Garcia was really telling you on that occasion was, since you indicated you couldn't remember the exact words, you could give evidence of what you understood the message of the speech to be. But when you can give us exact words, make efforts to do that. All right?
Yes, Your Honor, just for the record, what I do remember, maybe I misspoke, is telling the witness if he can't remember the exact words, then tell us the gist of it or the general meaning. But if he does, obviously, remember the exact words, it's even better.
That's what I said.
It's even better. So.
Move on. Mr. Garcia, I don't know when you move away from the killing of Lucas Sang, but it appears that so far the manner of your eliciting information about killings had been to inquire who did it and all that. I don't know whether you've done it as regards Mr. Sang, Lucas Sang, who was killed, and who were the culprits, if that sort of information is available to be given.
I haven't elicited that information, but I can elicit it, Your Honor.
Yes, please.
I think that was elicited through other witnesses, but I can do it again through this witness, obviously. Now, Mr. Witness, obviously, if you know the exact words, you can tell them to us, and that'll be the best thing. But in response to my last question, you're saying that Sumbeyo was also giving the same information, giving the word of sympathy, and also encouraging and also praising the late, that he died when he was fighting for us. And he was praising whom exactly?
The late Lucas Sang.
Now, do you remember the exact words that he used, or do you just remember the general meaning of what he was saying?
He or she?
He was.
Who are we talking about now?
Sumbeyo.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was still thinking about something. Sorry.
We're speaking, just for the record, we are speaking about what Sumbeyo would have said.
All right.
Mr. Witness, do you remember the exact words, or it's just the general meaning of what he was conveying to the people there?
I've just said that I can't remember the exact word, but I can remember that he was also at a time praising the late, that we need to be like him, that he has died as a hero. He was fighting for the community.
And when he said fighting for the community, you understood that to be what community?
Kalenjin.
Now, how did you happen to know, Mr. Witness, that there was a funeral for Mr. Lucas Sang that had been organized on that particular day?
During the Wednesday, his body was driven around Eldoret's town, and with the white piece of, like he was being driven as an hero in the town, to be seen that when after removed from the mortuary.
And how is it that you were informed that there was going to be a funeral for him on that particular date? And wait for 5 seconds before you answer.
Of course, it was already announced over the radio that the funeral will be there the following day, and his body was supposed to be taken to stay overnight at his place.
Now, it was announced on what radio?
K7.
Do you remember who was announcing that the funerals will be held on that date on KSFM?
It was announced around in the evening, by Joshua Sang.
Now, was there any media present at the funeral of Mr. Lucas Sang?
I'm not sure.
What I mean is, were there any representatives of the media?
I can't remember.
Now, you mentioned that Mr. Joshua Sang had announced this on the evening before. Do you know where Mr. Joshua Sang was on that day of the funerals of Mr. Lucas Sang?
He was also present.
What was he doing?
Just to keep up sympathy to the family and also praise the late.
And how did Mr. Joshua Sang praise the late Lucas Sang?
By giving his condolences and talk about him.
Were you there when Mr. Joshua Sang spoke about Mr. Lucas Sang?
Yes.
Can you tell the court what Mr. Joshua Sang said? Take 5 seconds and give us a full answer, please.
In short, he was just giving a sympathy and also praised the late for being fighter of the community.
Is that all that he said?
That's what I can remember.
Do you remember the words he used when he was speaking, Mr. Joshua Sang?
The words exactly I've just said, that he was giving a sympathy to the late and also praising him for being the fighter, that he has died fighting for the community.
And just to be clear, was Mr. Joshua Sang giving his sympathies?
Yes.
Anything else that you recall Mr. Joshua Sang saying on that day?
No.
Mr. Kessie, look at page 24, line 6. Something written to the effect, quote, driven as an other row in town. Was that the testimony?
I can clear that up with the witness, Your Honor, just to be... Now, Mr. Witness, you said that in response to my question as to how you happened to know that Mr. Lucas Sang, that there had been a funeral organized for him on that particular day. You said during the Wednesday his body was moved, was driven around Eldoret town, and with the white piece of... A piece of what exactly?
Clothes or white paper, white clothes like this, handkerchiefs like this, to show that it's like a peaceful ceremony to send somebody who is a hero. Always we have red handkerchiefs or red wrapped to show that red is somebody has died. But this one, he was with a white, what do you call?
Is it white piece of cloth or clothing?
Yes.
So white piece of cloth, I imagine. And you said like he was being driven as another row in town. What did you mean exactly?
In the streets of Eldoret.
I thought he said hero.
Hero.
Did you say as a hero?
Yes.
All right, so as a hero in town. Thank you for that, Mr. Wood. Now, Mr. Witness, I'd like to bring you back to the period between 2005 and 2007. Now, in the year 2005, did you attend any political meetings?
Yes, Your Honor, 2005.
Yes, 2005. Did you attend political meetings or any meetings where politicians were
Yes.
gathered?
Yes, Your Honor.
On what date? Do you remember the date you would have attended such a meeting?
He was just referring, telling the people in there to be prepared to do what they have already done before, and they have to finish to make sure that we remove the Kikuyus from our land, from our soil. We could use our soil.
You said that he said that to be prepared to do what they have already done before.
Yes.
What did he mean by that? What had they done before? Explain that to the court clearly.
Actually, the area was, there was another violence took place in the previous years in that area, and then Kikuyus were almost removed from the area, but some of them will still remain in the area. But actually, even that functions, there was a football club between the area from Kikuyus and Kalenjin. But actually, he was talking in a Kalenjin, despite the fact that there was also Kikuyus who were having a club there, football club.
So you said that there had been another violence that had taken place in the previous years.
In the same region, it's the same areas.
All right. And this is the area of what? What is the area known as?
And forest area.
And can you tell us when in the past the violence had occurred?
1992 and some others I cannot recall, but mostly 1992.
And what had happened in 1992?
There was a fight within areas like Rironi, which is along Anfan forest areas, where Kikuyus were dominated areas. There is even an area called Rironi is now changed to Kablelach, to mean that it was having a name of Kikuyu, that Rironi, but now it has been changed to Kablelach.
And what is? Can you spell that name for us? This Caprironi.
Rironi is R-I-R-O-N-I. And now it has changed to Kablelach.
And Kaplelach, can you spell that? Is that K-A-P-L-E-L-A-C-H?
Yes.
So at the time in 1992, this area, Rironi, it was inhabited by people of what ethnicity?
Kikuyus.
And in 2005, were there Kikuyus remaining in that area?
Yes, because there are some, in some other parts like Lenguse, there's still some Kikuyus, area of Panforested town, and some areas there is also Kikuyus who still remain. They're still in majority.
And you said that Kikuyus had been removed in the past. Who had removed them from that area?
Kalenjins.
And just to be clear for the record, in what language was Mr. Ruto speaking when he was saying this?
Kalenjin, he was speaking in Nandi, and even the chief of the area wanted to speak in Swahili, but he was stopped from doing so. But, yeah.
Now, how did the crowd that was gathered there react to Mr. Ruto saying these things?
Before we proceed, who stopped the chief of the area from wanting to speak in Swahili?
The area MP, David Koros.
Mr. Agesia, we're interested in knowing exactly what Mr. Ruto said in the speech, if the witness can remember the exact words.
Certainly, Your Honor, and I will also broach the subject that the court has just broached in its question. Now, Mr. Witness, can you tell the court the exact words that were used by Mr. Ruto when he said this to the people at that gathering on the 1st of October 2005? Are you able to give us that?
I can't remember exact word, but he was using some word to say that these people have been in our soil. They have to be removed from our soil once and for all. But I can't join the exact word he used by then, but he used such a word, our soil.
Hold that question, please. Private session.
We're in open session, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Now, Mr. Witness, I asked you if you can recall the exact words that Mr. Ruto would have used on that 1st of October 2005. You stated that, from my understanding, is that you can't. You say that they have to be removed from our soil once and for all, and you say that I can't join the exact words he used by then. Do you remember any of the words? As in, can you tell us how he was referring to people that were of Kikuyu ethnicity?
He used some other words which I cannot still remember, because he was the one who talked at length. So I can't remember his exact word, but I can remember him. There was some other word he used, but when he was referring to Kikuyus, he was just saying the Kikuyus. He was almost saying the Kikuyus, but he was referring as visitors. But there is some other word he used. I can't remember what he used to mean the Kikuyus.
Now, to your recollection, did Mr. Ruto say anything else that you remember today?
I can't remember any other words, but he talks at length. But one of them is the fiction of Kikuyus was actually one of the main words that he used, that they have to be removed once and for all.
Now, what was the reaction of the crowd that was listening to this, listening to Mr. Ruto when he said these things.
1 second, sorry. Witness, you said that Mr. Ruto had said for the people or Calendins to do what they had done before.
Yes.
Did he say that?
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
He used those words?
Yes, Your Honor.
Please proceed, Mr. Garcia.
Now, Mr. Witness, what was the reaction of the crowd upon hearing these words from Mr. Ruto?
They were cheering him.
Now, you said that a person was impeded from speaking in Swahili. Who was this?
The area chief, Mr. Biwott.
Was that B-I-W-O-T-T?
Yes,
And this was a person of what ethnicity?
Nandi.
And who stopped him from speaking in Swahili?
Mr. President, this has been asked and answered. The witness said David Koros.
Mr. Witness, do you know why Mr. Koros would have asked Mr. Biwott not to speak in Swahili?
Because what was being talked is about some what that inside against Kikuyus, and some Kikuyus were there.
Now, how do you know this, that this is the reason why Mr. Koros was stopping him from speaking in Swahili?
I cannot know beyond that, but he was stopping him. He said, no, we need to talk ourselves.
Just to complete, did you say no, we are, or we need to talk ourselves? Is that it?
Yes.
Now, Mr. Witness, during this period of time, 2005...
Are you moving away from this meeting?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Please, witness, you've testified as to what Mr. Ruto said, and you said he spoke in Kalenjin. Did he speak in any other language during his speech?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. Proceed.
Now, Mr. Witness, I'd like to ask you some questions regarding this period of time before the referendum in 2005 in Kenya. Were you listening to the radio during this period of time?
Yes, Your Honor.
Can you tell us what radio station you were listening to?
I was listening to several radio stations, but mostly Radio Citizen and Kass FM. By then it was newly launched, and I could listen mostly with that.
And when you would listen to Kass FM, would you listen to any program in particular or any host in particular?
Yes, I listened to name it.
And who was the host of that show?
Mr. Sang.
Now, can you tell us what was being said on the show of Lene Emet by Mr. Sang regarding the referendum at that time?
During that time, actually, it was against the draft constitutions, and he was giving a negative side of the draft most of the time, most of his topic in the morning. And that was it, I can still remember. But the callers were actually very excited when he was using his program in the morning.
What was he saying exactly about the draft constitution?
The draft constitution, it was used that this new constitution, if it's going to pass through, then Kikuyus will use them to take away our lands. And those are the main words he was also using. And also some other callers could also use the same, that it will give... I can't remember what, but it will give chance for many people to come to take our lands. That is most things that he was using to incite the public, and also he was also using the same to give praise to the then people who are supporting who are against the draft constitution by then.
Now, you said that he was saying that if the Constitution would pass, then Kikuyus will use them to take away our lands. Can you tell us how he was referring to Kikuyus while on air, while he was broadcasting?
There are many words could use. One of them is Murgelda. Murgelda, yes.
It's Murgelda?
Yes, Murgelda, yes.
Did you say something before Murgelda? Is there something that comes before that?
Murgelda, yes. Yes, K-A-B, then Murgelda.
And literally, what does that mean, Murgelda?
It's one name of Kikuyus. One of the names of the Kikuyus, according to our community called Kikuyus, that name most of the time.
Did he use any other words to refer to Kikuyus while he was on air or broadcasting?
The people from Hap, the Jundoror.
You said the people from up?
Yes.
What else exactly? You used another word.
That is Pijundro. Those people from the other side, the higher place, I cannot explain directly what is the meaning in English.
Right. Can you write that word? Did you say Pijundro or something like that? Can you write it, please, and spell it for the record?
Okay. Pichun is P-I-C-H-U-N, and then Toror is T-O-R-O-R.
And you say that there were callers who would call into his program. What would these callers say?
They were really against the draft and say Kikuyus must know that it's our land and they have, later on they have to go. They will not accept that to happen anymore.
And when callers would say this on air, how would Mr. Sang react to that?
He was really supporting them.
Now, after the referendum, between the period of time of after the referendum to 2007, before the post-election violence, were you listening to Kass FM as well?
Yes, it's a radio which is always there. The whole time I could listen to it.
Can you tell us what Mr. Sang would be saying on the radio during that period of time? What was the general message?
I can't. There are so many hats. I cannot just remember exactly what you want.
Was he speaking about the Kikuyus on the radio?
Sorry, that is leading, very leading.
I've just said earlier that during referendum and after referendum, he was just leading the people to, like, it was actually for the people who were supporting the people demand that now it's already, people have already organized themselves and they are now against the Kikuyus. And most of the time could talk to confirm that he was really for that.
Okay, so you say that after the referendum, he was saying that people have already organized themselves and they are now against the Kikuyus. Can you explain?
No.
Mr. President, can I just say also, just we've taken quite a long time with this witness already. I wonder what is the utility of reading back every single time, almost, the witness's previous answer. This kind of shadowing is not necessary. There's a record, and my friend can, in my respectful submission, simply put his next question instead of reading the previous answer.
That's allowed. He can bring back the witness's previous answer as a springboard to another line of questions. So that is permissible. Mr. Ken, you know that. Proceed, Mr. Garcia.
Now, Mr. Witness, you said that after the referendum, and I think this is Mr. Sang would have said that people have already organized themselves and they are now against the Kikuyus. Can you explain that to us?
I didn't say that I was saying that, but I say the general public from the Kalenjin community has already take a certain position against Kikuyus. I didn't say that it was already prepared to arrange themselves. No. It was already have a strong perceptions that Kikuyus are enemies of the community.
Okay, now, from what you could listen on the radio after the referendum, what was Mr. Sang's opinion on this, on the position of the Kikuyus?
He was always using the word, nobody love you, Mojamoki. That is to show that the Kalenjin community are not being loved unless they stand firm to fight for themselves.
I think you said a word after nobody love you. What is the word exactly? Can you spell it for us?
that is, sometimes he could use this word to say, okay, ongen moja mokchi. That is to say, do you know that nobody loves you? That ongen is O-N-G-E-N. And then Majamok is M-A-Z-H-A-M-A-K. And then Chi is C-H-G. C-H-I.
Now, in the period just preceding the post-election violence and the elections in Kenya on the 27th of December, what was being said on CAS FM regarding the elections?
Actually, it was sometimes take the people from the ODM side to their station, and most of the time it could direct people to the side of ODM mostly, but actually it could also bring the people of the other side of PNU to the station to campaign for the Party of National Unity, yes, but the people already react opposite, that they could not even support what people from PNU side could say.
Now, I'd just like to know, Mr. Witness, did he ever have people from the ODM in the studio with him?
Yes, Your Honor.
Can you tell us which people?
I can't remember them, but one of them is Mheshimiwa William Ruto.
Your Honors, I see the time.
Yes, so we'll take a morning break. Now, how much longer do you want to spend with this witness?
I have 30 minutes left, Your Honor.
All right. We will take our morning break now and come back in 30 minutes. We go to closed session.
All rise. We will lever. Please be seated. We will just swap.
Thank you very much. Witness, welcome back. Mr. Garcia, please proceed.
Now, Mr. Witness, when we left off, you had mentioned that Mr. Sang had Mr. William Ruto as a guest in studio. Do you remember what they would have spoken about?
The campaign was about then to campaign for the Party of Orange Democratic Movement, and support took directly to the Kalenjin community to support ODM.
Can you tell us, Mr. Witness, what was Mr. Sang's position on people who did not support the ODM?
Actually, the people who could not support ODM by then, he could react and say, that is yours. And then he could mention some word which could show that he was not supporting anybody who was not supporting ODM by then.
Now, just for the transcript, Mr. Witness, you say he could react and say that is, we didn't understand the word. What was the word?
That if somebody could call in who is supporting the opposite party, like PNU, could talk shortly and then could say, okay, that is yours. And then, but when somebody called in from the ODM side, could add more words to support it, which means his heart was in the other side of ODM.
Your Honors, I'd like to go into private section for 2-3 minutes.
But before that, is that to elaborate on the testimony? Is the witness's testimony to the effect that if a caller called in expressing support for the party opposed to ODM, Mr. Sang would cut that caller short and say, that is your view to that person. But is that what you said?
Yes, Your Honor.
Right. But if somebody called in supporting the ODM, then that person had more time to speak on Mr. Sang's show. Is that what you were saying?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. You want to go to private session now?
Yes, for a couple of minutes, Your Honor.
A private session.